So I'm racing the clock, trying to restore some vintage carnival rides in my backyard while my grandkids are still young enough to enjoy them. In support of that goal, I recently purchased a milling machine on Facebook Marketplace, upgrading my workshop capabilities. And although I'm not doing a full restoration on that machine, it does need a bit of work to put it back in operation, and I hope to finish that work this week. I've got the display for the digital readout home here on the workbench, and I want to take it apart and find out why we've got power but no function. Okay, we got a battery in here. Looks like some pretty severe corrosion. So maybe it's just a battery issue. Maybe if we clean up some corrosion on the board and get that battery off there, it'll work. Let me continue digging into this thing. Kind of smell the battery smell. So we get rid of them. This one is plugged in with the terminals to the outside here. Squeeze that, pull that, pull that. Don't really see any damage here, although the board is really warped. Okay, we got a lot of damage here. Should be able to take these off. Oh, it's coming out. This one over here is where the corrosion is. This is plugged in with the red towards this side. Well, first thing we need to do is clean up this damage. The part numbers are all on the board. That's really nice. Hopefully the EEPROM is good. If I get this taken apart, I can wash it easier. Keyboard. So we'll have a double-angled approach here. We're going to cosmetically clean up the case and this front panel, and then we can also work on trying to revive the electronics. Spray it with some water first. I think that'll be acceptable. Now we can clean it. There you go.
This one might be tight.
I don't think any of them are going to be tight on you. Put your safety glasses back up. Now, I want you to rub it right there where it's kind of greenish. Right there.
Right here?
Yep.
This is kind of dirty.
Yep.
Here, here, here. Yeah, we're gonna use all of this.
We might, because this is really messy. If you rub it, it gets stuck.
Yeah.
But if you dab it, it doesn't.
Yeah, because then I'm able to pull it out.
Yeah. And then we'll turn it over and we'll do the same thing on the other side.
Yeah.
Wherever you see it, like greenish, like there and there.
Oh my god, it's all greenish.
Yeah.
Here.
All right. Well, we'll let this sit for a little while.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it in the house and rinse it off.
Yeah.
Just set them there for next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I've done a bit of work on this board, repairing some of the damage that the battery did. And now I kind of want to get power put back to it and see if we get any sort of different result than we did the first time we plugged it in. So I think I'm going to get the memory chips put back in and then put power on it and see exactly what we've got, if anything. Our power comes in here. And our keyboard plugs in right here. This is the interface board for the encoders. I'm going to leave this disconnected for the time being. I don't know if that'll matter, but we'll just kind of try to boot this up with a minimal configuration here. So let me plug this in. Oh, something is happening. Before, all we had was this light on steady and this light on steady, and now we've got some stuff going on in the LED display here. If I type Y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the Y-axis is working there. X-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm getting all sorts of gibberish there. Let's try incremental and absolute. Okay, that's working. Let's try inch and millimeter. The millimeter light is turning off, but the inch light is not turning on. This is where the worst battery damage was, right up in this corner here. So that doesn't completely surprise me. All right, let's do X and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna write down what these look like. See if that can teach us anything. So for the number 1, we're getting something that looks like a 9. 8 and 9 look like 8 and 9. There's a chip on there which I'm assuming is going to be a 7-segment decoder. So we need to look up the data sheet for that and see if any of these characters mean anything. I'm kind of curious if we have voltage at that LED that's not working. Yeah, I'm measuring 5 volts there, so that should be on. I'm going to suspect that either there's a broken solder joint around the base of the LED or the LED's just gone bad. So we got a few things here to investigate. I think we have a clue. I've downloaded the data sheet for the 7-segment decoder, and I notice in here that there are characters from here to here that suspiciously look like the characters we're getting. We want 0 through 7, but the characters we're getting are actually 8 through 15. We just need to look at the address lines and figure out what could make that happen. And 0 through 7, the dividing line is right there. And the only difference is this line here. So it appears like we have a situation where our A3 line is always high. So we either have a problem, I think, in one of these chips or possibly in the 7-segment decoder itself. Maybe the input is just stuck high. Here's something I haven't mentioned. All of the date codes on these chips are from around 1987. So that kind of gives us a clue as to when this board was actually made. All right, I'm here at the workbench and I've been doing some diagnosis of this DRRO board. One of the things we noticed was that the LED up here, no matter what we did, that did not light. I took the LED out and I have determined that this LED is just bad. Now here's the problem. This is mid-80s technology here. You know, it's running an 8085 processor, which is the predecessor of the 8086, the entire thing the PC was built around. The chances of being able to match that color-wise so that it's not apparent that it's been replaced, there's no way I'm going to find that LED. But we do have this extra LED here. I'm going to take this LED and move it up here so it's one of these 4, and then we'll just find a replacement for this guy because it'll be off on its own and it won't be so obvious that it's been changed. There we go. Inch and metric are working. Incremental and absolute are working. Now we just need to get a replacement LED for down here. Okay, after working on this for a while and trying to determine why attaching the encoder board locks up the main board, I'm starting to suspect it's actually the connector. I think we have a faulty connector. I'm going to clean these connectors, although these are gold. Gold doesn't usually give us too many problems, but I think these connectors down here are just tin. I'm going to spray them with some brake cleaner. I don't have any contact cleaner, but we'll use some brake cleaner and see if our condition improves at all. While that's still wet, I will insert and remove this a couple times. Look at that. That works. With the encoder board attached. We might want to replace these connectors between the boards just because they're probably going to cause problems down the line. When we run diagnostics, we get some error codes. I got a replacement battery. I want to install that because I'm curious if maybe one of the error codes that we're getting is that the battery backup is not working. I'm fairly sure that this chip is defective. I'm going to take this out and replace it with a socket, and then I have hopefully some new old stock versions of this chip coming. So we are using Chip Quick, which is a low temperature solder. It basically lowers the melting temperature of all of the solder around it. Go to the other side and let gravity help us. Hopefully we didn't pull any traces up. Now I want to put the original chip back in and see if it works at least as good as it did. See if we can get this to go back in here. Okay, we're working. This is still wrong, but we're working. So earlier we moved our LED from here up to here just to go as 4 matching ones. I've ordered a bunch of different LEDs here to try to find the one that I think would look best. It appears to me like this is the one that's going to match the best for us. Let's plug this back in. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that looks all right. Well, I've been waiting for replacement chips here for over a week now. They finally showed up today. It's starting to get a little difficult to find these older chips. I bought 5 of them and they arrived like this, all just stacked up on top of each other. I guess we'll see. This is a TMP 8155P2, which is just a faster speed version of this one, so it should be fine. Plug it in here, see if it works. That is the exact same response. Why is that pin floating? Alright, after a little quick probing around here on the board, it seems like maybe we have a broken trace, which is weird because that was one of the first things I tested for. But we do not have continuity between here and here. And coming back to here, we don't even have continuity there. So we're like broken right here. So I'm gonna make a little repair there. That was my first assumption because of the battery damage. I went into this assuming that all of my problems would probably be related to bad traces. So fiberglass pens work really good for this kind of stuff. That's close enough there that we can probably just bridge that. Try that. Alright, now we have continuity. X 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.67. I can't believe we've screwed around this long for a broken trace. Y 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.7. I found some more bad connections up here. This is the decoder that tells the RAM chip when we want to use it. The RAM chip was never being enabled. I suspected that that was maybe what our flashing 4 error code was, but that doesn't seem to be it. So things are working to the point now where I believe that I can hook this back up to the machine to the scales and see if it works in some fashion. There still seems to be an error when I do the diagnostics. I still am getting a 4 error code here. Right there. The other thing I want to do, these 2 rows of connectors here that connect to the encoder board, those connectors are bad. So I've got some new ones here, so I'm going to swap those out. Okay, so we got this all back together. And I think tomorrow I'm going to take it and hook it up to the mill and see if the scales work. Well, in the last video I mentioned needing to get the DRRO working, the digital readout, to be able to use the milling machine, but I suppose I also really need to get this vise cleaned up so we actually have something to hold parts with. Just like the dividing head, this is a pretty heavy-duty unit here. And just like the dividing head, it's also really dirty. This vise does have some damage. As Mr. Pete would say, looks like Bubba got to it. We got a little drill tap right there, and we got this kind of big nasty milling damage here. And everything about this machine is heavy. You got to get that lined up with that. And then it'll come out. Come on. You can do it. I know you can. There it goes. Looks like there may be anti-seize on there. This will probably go to the safety clean sink at work. Get cleaned up. And we could probably take this off of here. The threads must be buggered up on this. Wow. That is some kind of tight. And this stuff reeks of old cutting oil. Like gear oil. Now this should be able to slide right out the back. Oh, there we go. There is a bearing in here, I believe. Yep. There we go. Okay.
Are we gonna do the other side?
Yes.
Poppy,
But
you probably are gonna need safety glasses too.
well, I'm wearing my regular glasses.
Yeah.
It's really heavy.
Be careful. This kind of part is really slippery. I think we're done now.
You think we're done?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's time to get some paint on this vise. I've already gone ahead and primed it. Now, originally, my plan was to paint this thing purple because purple is the best color. But then I realized that this is actually a true Kurt Anglock vise. I thought maybe painting it purple would be disrespectful to Kurt. So went out and decided to find some blue paint. And I bought several different shades of blue, trying to find the one that matched best. What I've determined is that the Ace Rust Stop Continental Blue Gloss is the closest match to the Kurt Blue, so that's what we're going to use. Why are we dripping? That's not cool. What's going on there? This thing is a mess. Well, this can is definitely going back to the hardware store tomorrow. All right, well, I think that our paint has dried. We can probably get this uncovered now. That blue looks really nice against that metal. We'll put just a little bit anti-seize on there. Alright, there's that. Alright, so today we're going to attempt to change the oil in the gearbox here. And according to the manual, this calls for basically automatic transmission fluid. It's got a sight glass here, but can't really see what's going on there. I'm gonna have to say there's nothing in there. Let's see what there is to see. Looks like it's gonna take the whole cord. I'm still not seeing anything in the sight glass. I guess we can get some power hooked to it and see if there's any perceptible change in the sound or if it starts flinging oil out of everywhere. Let's try this. There we go. What I'd like to do is plug this in and go through some of the stuff in the manual it says it's supposed to do. Make sure it does what the manual says it does. Yep, that's X. That's Y. To clear the memory blocks, set 10 times. Well, let's do that. Just clearing. This DRO doesn't have a lot of options. It doesn't have anything for like calculating bolt hole circles or anything like that. It's strictly point to point and showing you where you are with some very minimal like pre-programming you can do of set points. But if you're going to be doing what I'm going to be doing with this machine, which is primarily working off of a print for a part that I designed to make a 1-off or a 2-off, there's not really going to be any reason to program the store points. But hey, the DRO is working, right? We know where we're at. So that's the main thing. That's a win. Well, now that we have the mill cleaned up, put back together, and working, I think I have a project for it. So if you don't want to miss that, click that link to the left and come along for the ride. I got no complaints about that. This is beautiful.